He is one of the great film philosophers, an artist, an author, for me, one of the most important figures in cinema. Academy Award-winning filmmaker, but that's not the least of it. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Pantoliano. Ms. Tippi Hedren, one of the great artists, technicians, Thelma Schoonmaker. Let's give her a nice round of applause.
I'm fucking Patton Oswalt.
Don't you know?
Yeah. I'm a mid-level headliner in smaller rooms.
Oscar-nominated performance. Must.
What the hell does that
Well,
mean?
I read it on Wikipedia. I don't know. That's all I know. Willem Dafoe, everybody. Do you think you're getting better as an actress?
I think you should only get better if you're an actor. Because I think with each character, you're asking why. You're asked to understand behavior, and that should add to your tolerance and your ability to empathize.
Is it just the natural journey of you as a human being lends itself to becoming a better actor?
I would like to think so.
This is a common thing talked about in training, that to understand an actor, one needs to have acted.
I don't.
You think that's overrated?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the filmmakers you are a testament to that, from Scorsese, you know, Lynch and all these guys.
A lot of those guys don't know shit about acting. Right. They don't, and they don't have to.
You're in an interesting world now in your career, and Big Fan was a big step. Was there any question whether you could act in the sense of a traditional...
I mean, I certainly had a lot of doubts. The only reason I did Big Fan was the director offered it to me.
Did he write it for you?
No, that movie was written a decade before The Wrestler, and everyone at some point was attached to it. I just ran into Adam Sandler, and he goes, I almost did Big Fan, and I just thought it was too dark and creepy, and it freaked me out.
Is that insulting to hear him say?
It's not insulting if that's the reality, though. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
that's the shortcut to fucking your career is going, excuse me, maybe you've seen Dollhouse. I did a pretty good guest star in that, so I think I'll be in front of Giamatti on this next thing.
Was it a shock to your roots back in Taiwan, let's say? Were they surprised at the decisions you were making, your family?
Well, yeah, back then it was condemned.
Yeah.
It was a shameful thing. After I did Sense Sensibility, my father said to me, I think at this rate, maybe you'll get an Oscar by the age of 50, and maybe you can start thinking about doing something for real. You'll be happy.
Can we get back to that age of making big films with a personal intent?
It is a sad fact that the more money you have, the less you're allowed to say with it.
I asked Abel Ferrara, if someone gave you $200 million to direct a movie, would you do it? I hadn't finished the question and he said yes. Would you?
No.
Talk a little bit about that performance of Marnie. You weren't nominated. Did that have anything to do with the fallout?
Yes. Yes, it did. As this obsession grew, it became more and more difficult for me. I just had to, right then and there, say, as soon as this film is over, I am out. And he said, well, I'll ruin your career. And he did. Apparently, I was up for a nomination, and Hitchcock killed it.
Have you ever come close to being in a Woody Allen film?
I actually did what is like auditioning for Woody Allen. And what happens is you just go in his office and he just looks at you. He says, thank you for coming, and then I left. And then when I saw Deconstructing Harry, I was, on the one hand, terribly sorry not to be a part of such a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
But on the other, I could not have filleted Richard Benjamin appropriately. I have no right to bring that into this room.
No, it's okay.
Affairs, but,
you're amongst friends.
It just really, no, it's like a Stasi.
Well, there's no film in those cameras.
Oh, thank God.
They're props. About Memento, did he know precisely all along, Chris Nolan, what was happening? Or did he ever think, God damn it, they stumped me here?
They're mad at me now, you know.
The Nolans.
Yeah, we just did the 10th anniversary. You know, I said during this Q&A that whenever you see it in black and white is actually the truth. And Jonah, I think, went home and told Chris. And he said, Joey gave us up.
Oh, no.
So now they're mad at me.
Tell us about the chestburster scene. What did you know beforehand? What didn't you know?
Well, I was mentoring with him, so...
With Ridley, you were kind of...
Yeah, when I wasn't working, I was following him around, so I watched that thing being set up, so I knew how they were going to do it.
Right.
And I saw, God, I saw them bring in these buckets of cow guts and innards and pails of blood, the real thing, into the room. I'm thinking, oh man, Ridley, come on, calm down.
You said something really interesting about Travis, that if the film were to continue, he may in fact repeat the cycle.
Some years later, De Niro was trying to get Marty and I to do a sequel. And I said to Marty, it's the dumbest fucking idea I ever heard. that character died about a year after the film. There's only one way he's still alive. He's sitting in a cabin
Right.
creating mail bombs.
The Unabomber.
He's the Unabomber.
Did you say that to De Niro, and what was his response? Did he?
Well, that wasn't what he had in mind.
Marty and you and the team do have to fight still artistic fights.
Constantly. You know, it's amazing most of these films got made. Goodfellas, they refused to make it 2 or 3 times. And my husband, he cared so deeply about Marty's artistic integrity. And he said, Marty, you have to make this movie. This is the best script I've read in 20 years. Wow. So Marty went back in one more time. And he said, come on, let me make this movie. Finally, they did. And it was, as you know, rather successful.
Yeah, you did okay. That film, you know, it found its audience.
Yeah.
You know.
So, but what happened is that Michael Powell was dying towards the end of that movie, unfortunately. And he never saw it, which is too bad because he got it made. And don't worry if I cry right now. I'll recover. It's okay. After he died, I didn't want to go back to, I didn't want to live. So, but I knew Michael wanted me to go back and help Marty finish that film. He was just obsessed about Marty's artistic integrity, and I did. I went back, it saved my life. And that circle of Michael having gotten it made, and then also me knowing that Michael would want me to go back, isn't that a beautiful story?